Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Welcome back to another science fiction-filled weekly episodic adventure of Cosmic Crit and our 300th episode extravaganza. This is your GM Patrick here, piloting the good starship Crit through space and time, and joining me in attacking aliens and riding the whip through the drift are my 5 friends and your space adventuring heroic players. To my far left, he's done it his way, and he's gonna do it again. It's jabbering away as Jamfram.
That done been me.
Across the digital table from me, he's got a laser pistol and a space blimp, and he knows how to use one of them. It's Miles, make him believe is redacted.
Good evening.
To my right, the brave captain, stand-in, Flash Gordoning all over the place, while it's Tyler talking as Prey Deer.
Hello there.
To my immediate left, he's the worst Starfleet member, but the best Starfinder critter we have. It's Drew, dying to play Zilix.
Huzzah!
And across from him, your genetically modified killing machine in a box. It's none other than Rebecca rolling with Asher and Sky.
Hello.
Hey everyone. It's a third episode extravaganza. Welcome to this week's episode of
We did it. We're syndicated for a third time. We did. Got that Seinfeld money
You guys
now.
get your checks for that?
I called the bank. They said, yeah, sure, sir. Please call again next week.
But Mom, I'm a famous podcaster. Why
I am the clown Pagliacci.
You should listen to Cosmic Crit. It is a great podcast. It'll make you feel so much better. Oh, no, it won't. No, it won't. Guys, we have more episodes than the Doctor Who revival and the original Star Trek show and Battlestar Galactica combined.
Yes, suck on that, Kurt.
Yeah, I didn't do the math on that, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
The proof that quality and quantity don't go together.
How dare you, Tyler? We're quantity. We're the best.
I like to think we're the entire package as well, Patrick.
Yeah, I didn't check the math on that, but episode 100 was way back in the middle of season 2. Episode 200 was the kickoff to season 4, if you recall, a couple of years ago. And yeah, I'm happy that this year we got another kind of mid-season episode, and it also kind of corresponded pretty well with Viridian Colony's 1-year anniversary. So, and it's also been almost a full year that we've been playing this season. I think it's actually only been 10 months or so, but we've been
Feels like
planning, a year. We've been planning season 5 Cosmic Crit for at least I have for a long time. So I've been with it for over a year. So it's almost like we're playing this season in real time, which I kind of find funny compared to what season 1 taking place over the course of a couple months. Season 2 felt like a week.
What has been our longest season? Is it 1 still?
No, episode wise.
Yeah.
Was it 3?
3 or 4 actually. 4 was pretty long. I think they're both
I don't know what happened in season 4.
You guys had a lot of high level fights, and they were very long.
Season 1 characters came back, and nothing happened.
I think
I remember there was a motorcycle. Yeah.
I feel like season 1 just took forever because I say took forever like it's a bad thing. It seems like it took a long time just because we were still learning things, and now we're experts in the game, so it just tends to go much faster.
I still ask, what level do we get ability boosts?
Don't feel bad, Miles. Every time I have to write a new character sheet, I have to relearn all of the rules again.
Yeah. We all have those. I feel like each one of us has our own unique little, I just never remember this rule or thing, whether it be ability boosts, how attacks of opportunity work, how saves work. I mean, we're all somewhere in there.
Well, now they play, at least I play so much Pathfinder 2nd edition, a lot more than I thought I was going to when we started this podcast a couple years ago. I get rules confused all the time. And every once in a while we get like a 1st edition Pathfinder rule thrown in there. Jabber and I were at my dining room table yesterday, and someone brought up a rule that was definitely, I think, a first edition ism in our second edition game. And yeah, so the whole, and spoiler warning, I think I've talked to you guys, of course, and some fans about developing my own TTRPG rules. So I'm like, I'm messing up even those, bringing them into this game. So I'm confusing like 4 different games.
Patrick,
worth of
while we're on the
rules.
topic, can you please let me know how grappling works in your game? Because I better start studying that now if I'm ever to get it right one day deep into the future.
Pretty much the same. I'm so sorry to say it.
Oh, no. I'm
Yeah,
never going to get it right now.
It's a little hard. Yeah. All right, guys, get ready to get into episode 300. 300 of Cosmic Crits. No last time ons. We're just starting this week's episode in full-on montage mode, as this is the day after your fight in Fish Fair with Mayor Pavo Sotillo. You guys are back in Viridian, back at the Founders Day Festival that is now in full swing as the bombs
I imagine we're
disarmed.
just eating just like big bowls of sugar.
Yeah, that's all we know.
Founders Day tradition. We eat enormous bowls of sugar.
Getting all sugared up.
Where Dad
just,
is walking around with like a pile of funnel cakes on one plate.
Right? You put funnel cakes on top of people's sugar.
Can I top you off, sir, with some funnel cake?
Fantastic.
Like the peppermill. You're just grinding
I'll
sugar
say
on
when.
top.
I know what I'm about, son.
Those poor people at Olive Garden just dispensing sugar and just never stopping. Just never stop.
No, we're watching the festival as Pradier maybe makes a speech to kick off the festivities. You guys in the background on the stage that was about to be blown up the day before. And yeah, you see in the audience a recovering Thistle, maybe with her arm in a sling after her near-death experience. She's standing by Ezra and Shire, who's like cheering you on silently, like, yay, Pradier. The festival gets kicked off, and indeed there are many a sweet treat made of the treacle like syrup from the local trees, candied fruits, sweet buns, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, throughout the day there are just more and more folks from other planetary colonies that come in to help celebrate and bring in, you know, small carts and businesses to make like a giant marketplace. You see the giant bear win from Nightwood with some Xeno Warden conservationists kind of flanking them, walking through and maybe enjoying the nature walks around the settlement. You get a visit from Zenilia's corporate scientists and their state sponsor and spokesperson, Gilcrew, the Riforian who you met last year. And yeah, hundreds of folks from all over the different colonies, Greymore, Triumph, Little Axiom. So they're traveling, you know, the better part of a day to get here and celebrate.
Palstov aren't here.
Yeah, there's some. They're
Dirty,
you know,
Palstovians.
Yeah, they're the Shelbyville of your colony. Oh man, what they're doing down there, I don't even want to. But yeah, where do we find your characters in this kind of festival? You know, you are indeed celebrating. It's been 1 year to the day that the Burnished Dawn set down on this planet, you know, surprisingly New Galarion. And I think you fought some mole beetles in day one. I think that was the first thing that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that weird critter was on the ship. It wasn't on the.
So yeah, what do you guys do in the festival? We've already had one with the Harvest Festival, but this is a little different celebration. It's, you know, this is celebrating what you've been able to accomplish.
Great question. You know,
What sort of booths? They're like, so like a fairground with like little games of chance and things like that.
I think, yeah, there's got to be. I mean, I think there's, you know, gambling's not illegal. There's definitely, you know, like different casino style games.
Yeah, and there's like dogs playing
that's all
basketball
Pradiers do.
Yeah.
Great.
I think Zilix is over there too.
Or Praetor's probably running one of them. I think he's probably running one of those stalls. Maybe it's like win your taxes back against the prime executive, and it's to see if folks can beat me at games of chance specifically. And
I was imagining you being in like a dunking booth.
Oh, I could also, Praetor would also, I think, be fine enough to do that. But he does use improved demoralize against anybody who tries to dunk him. So it's not easy.
Praetor running games of chance in a dunking booth would be so much more fun if he could still see the future.
That's just straight up. People would just be like, "Why bother? Why bother? We're not even going to go to the booth." It's only people from outside the colony where it's like, why are none of the locals lined up at Praetor's booth? They know better.
I feel like Redacted would still be just like walking around consuming as much fair food as Redacted could, because
you had your own booth set up in the Harvest Festival. Did you not want to hand out candies and confections this year?
No, Redacted wants to eat candies and confections.
Before you were doing a service to the colony, and now you're cashing it in.
Yeah, Redacted took some local youth as a volunteer to work the booth, so Redacted could enjoy the festival.
I have rules for skimmer tables that are from a Starfinder AP. If you actually do want to play cards, Tyler, I just realized that I had them in my notes.
Yeah, I don't know if you actually know this. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know if I've ever brought it up, but Praetor's background or his theme is actually gambler.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I feel like I have to play to my theme here in the fact that Praetor.
Yeah. How many credits do you want to bet?
3,000.
Do you have that many credits?
That's all my credits, pretty much.
I don't think people can cover that much action. I think maybe 1,000.
You want to put a limit on me?
Well, I don't. There's just how many people can you steal money from within? This is a 4-hour period of playing cards.
I'll do 500 credits.
500 credits. Okay, make me one bluff check.
Okay, coming your way.
Okay, make me one.
That was a 15 on the dice for a 26.
Intimidate check. Bully some people out of
that's my
playing hands.
Oh, second. No, it was tied for best.
Oh my. Oh, you've rolled well. Make me one sense motive check. Try to read people at these tables.
One of these can't be good, right?
You rolled well on all three of them.
Oh, heck yeah. Wow. I rolled a 15, a 17, and a 14. Those are my 3 best skills. So I do feel I feel great about that. That's awesome.
Yes. So after spending the entire majority of the early part of the festival here, you make... Wait, how much did you put down?
500.
You make 250 credits.
Yeah.
Just stealing from people, basically. That's funny. It would have been hilarious if you had rolled anything below like a 14. Some good rolls here.
Just, yeah. There's a staff that I want to buy, so.
Well, hopefully those credits will.
I still need 700 more credits to buy it, but we're getting closer.
Right. While you're playing these cards, Praetor, you find yourself it difficult to get away from Thistle, who maybe comes over and, besides being very thankful to all of you for her rescue after her capture by Pavo Sotillo, is, extremely seemingly smitten with Praetor, and we'll try not to cool you too much on the skimmer tables, but we'll bring you some cider and cocoa as the day moves on.
This'll do. Have you ever played these games of chance before? Is this something you are familiar with?
No, not really. I believe it or not, I'm not very good at lying.
Well, sometimes it's not so much about doing the lying, but it's about just perceiving the other, and being a spy, you are very perceptive. So maybe at some point he pulls away from the tables and if just teaches her some things or something, or does some 1v1
private lesson from the master.
Private lessons. There we go. My. That sounds better.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days? You old hound dog, you. Tyler's like a few years younger than me, so he's what the kids are calling.
Yeah, I'm glad that I set the precedent for what the kids are doing these days.
Yeah, later on in the afternoon, as you guys maybe reconvene after some games and fair food, Ezra and Shire brings you guys lunch after, everything has gotten underway during maybe at a kind of a secluded table overlooking the fairgrounds up on the hill, and says, well, guys, you all managed to do it. You've got 1 full year under your belt here. We've managed to survive, I guess, get outside this scrape with what you said was, fish fair, and I guess the stag bears was pretty bad, but yeah, you guys have done a great job.
Thank you. It has been helpful to have someone like yourself behind us, keeping us even keeled and on task.
Yeah, no, it's almost like I'm also worthy of getting my own eel jacket. It's like I'm, an equal member of the team as you guys are. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I think we have the eel jackets, but if we can perhaps make like a fan version of the eel jackets. I don't actually say this. That would be too mean.
You used up all the eel material on your own jackets. There's no more eel.
I agree.
Replicas. We want replica jackets to sell to our wonderful fans.
Oh man, could you imagine?
You guys already mentioned doing that. I think it's funny. Ezra and
pleather. We make
yes,
pleather.
Eel pleather.
Ezra continues on and says, "Yeah, well, I mean, we've done very well in this last year. And I want to congratulate you all. And I mean, it seems like you probably solved all these problems with the sabotages, right? If this was all the doing of Namiltana, and was he working for, you said, Aspis course? I mean,
Aspis Consortium, I think is the.
Yeah, well, if you took him on down, and I mean, we should be in the clear, right?
I mean, perhaps for a short time, but considering our neighbors and everybody else, I'm sure it won't be too long before we run against some sort of subterfuge again.
Well, that's a little sad. I was really hoping we were on the other side of things here, but well, I mean, it's just 1 year under our belt. After this festival's over and we wrap everything up here, I mean, we got to set our agenda for the following year, look to expand. I already talked to Karis Dorn over comms this morning, and well, he's really apologetic about Fish Fair's manipulation by Pavo, and he's already cleared to help me with some data recovery. And yeah, do you think you guys can trust those colonists down there enough? Maybe
I was actually
bring them into the fold.
I was actually thinking about bringing Dorn up here and sending you down to Fish Fair to operate things there.
Oh God, what did I do?
Dorn will just take over your responsibilities here at
this guy seemed really good. I understand, sir. He seemed very helpful. I don't know, but I'll pack my things and go.
No, teasing aside, yes, I think my read off of Mr. Dorn was that he was mostly concerned with, the citizens of Fish Fair. I don't think he really had too much of a stomach for what his employer was participating in.
I thought you were going to say he was primarily concerned with making drinks, because that was my experience.
To be fair to him, though, Jamfram was yelling at him to make drinks in the middle of our combat, so
and they were just the boost to morale that we needed.
Karen's juice me now. I need hydration
for all fight. We need him for both hydration and fighting and finding hidden doors, something that we are, as a group, completely incapable of. Apparently.
They're hidden. What were we supposed to do?
I don't know. I'm just happy that Asher and Sky's fists were able to be adequate replacements to subtle lockpicking.
Yeah, as you guys are enjoying your food here, there's a blast of static over comms, followed by the rushed voice of Kells Deirdrick, who says, we're getting multiple readings on radar for starships descending from orbit unannounced. It's over a dozen ships. We got incoming down there.
They're here to celebrate.
What are you guys doing?
I make drinks. Dorn, get on the drink maker.
Praetor looks at...
He's a few hours away.
No, I call him on comms. I'm like, Dorn, get over here. We're going to need drinks, stat. Build a teleport, invent a teleporter, and then get here.
This guy has so many things on his to-do list.
Oh yeah, the Jam from keeps coming up with new ones too. It's just like he's buried at this point.
And I feel like he would take all of them quite seriously.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I feel at one point
100%.
Jam from gets just a letter from Dorn that says, "Did my best on teleporter. Do not have adequate knowledge," and then there's like a 10-year plan for him to like go back to school, get the education that he needs in order to invent the teleporter.
There's no time, man. There's no time. Bring me an oolong.
Oh, fantastic!
Sounds pretty good, actually. A little oolong tea, a little bubble tea.
But, perhaps Praetor looks at Ezran and says, "Well, I think my guess was off about the future. Looks like we're going to get all that bad luck now."
I'll get all the colonists armed and ready. Oh boy. I was hoping to have just like one week without something crazy happening here.
So will we.
All right, well, I guess this is the invasion book. But book 3 of Horizons of the Vast. A bunch of starships invade.
Yeah,
I'm half expecting you to be like,
yeah, this book 3 is called Gimme Dat, isn't it? So, gimme dat.
Book 3, you guys get thrown in prison for 18 years. It's the prison book. 30 Aslanti warships? They're just going to bombard the colony and you have to start over completely?
Aw.
That's crazy.
I mean, this fleet can only be either Aslanti or Swarm, right? Those are the only two things.
I do love Swarm. Let's redo season 3.
Patrick's just rewriting things.
No, you guys can watch as about a dozen or so ships enter atmosphere to the far south, closer to the equator. And yeah, you just see for about 10 minutes some small streaks of red and yellow afterburners tearing through the cloud coverage. But as time ticks on and maybe folks do begin to worry a bit, that you eventually are able to, on long range scans, pick out designs of these craft and see that they are packed world vessels, very many of them similar to the Burnished Dawn ship that brought you here. And yeah, eventually you do get clearance calls for landing. All these vessels wanting to land right in and around Viridian.
They want to land near us?
Yeah, they send their
popular
beacons. These are indeed ships bound from Absalom Station that are coming in.
Well, tarnation.
I mean, nothing's changed. Grab your guns and set up ambush points along the landing.
I'm gonna shoot whatever steps out of there. It's like a child holding a flag.
Unless Raimi himself comes out of that first ship, someone's getting blasted.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put them outside the Willowanth fields and stables because there's not enough starship parking in the main town center for Viridian. But yeah, most of the festival goers have kind of gathered to greet these ships, and as the doors to the craft hiss open out of the locked hull, you see all at once dozens of folks disembarking, but they don't look like ordinary colonists. Indeed, the first thing that walks down the gantry is a mascotted, a costumed mascot of some sorts. It looks like they're dressed in a large set of golden plate armor made out of foam rubber. And their head is cartoonishly large paper mache and foam contraption that indeed looks like a giant golden helmet. It speaks with a booming voice. It's audio boosted perhaps by the ship's speakers. And this character says, "It is I, Abadar, mightiest of the ancient gods. I've traveled far from my home to reclaim this lost planet in the name of the Vault and my followers' investments opportunities." He's got like a rubber scepter he like waves around and says, "Forevermore let this land be known as Absalom Land. Huzzah!" Indeed, hundreds of entertainers, musicians, staff in purple and green polos, influencers, all manner of folks from Absalom begin moving gear and platforms off of the stations. There's construction robots and even more mascots. There's a very colorful Desna character and a very monotone Pharasma that arrive as well. And indeed, behind them, you don't have to shoot. Coming down behind all these folks are one Knack Feldspar and one Rami Quindar.
I was going to say, some real people better start coming off this boat.
Yeah, or we will start shooting.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really sorry to say. I said if anyone but Rami. So we're shooting Knack, I guess.
Knack, you're going down.
I'm so sorry, Knack.
You can try,
but
I've seen
no, we're not hitting Knack's AC. There's no way.
Right, because we got level 5 versus level what we in 20?
20.
Yeah.
I think you can do it.
That fight will be very
20.
short.
I was hard to hit at level 20, so
No, it doesn't seem like you're wearing armor right now. So it's barely an inconvenience. Super easy. You're not wearing armor because these don't look like their normal forms. Maybe Knack's a little wider and Rami's a little shorter. It's really just their faces plaster on what looks like SRO frames. Their likenesses projected as holograms around these metal synthetic heads.
Oh, I hate everything about that.
Oh, I love this. I love that.
I start shooting.
Amy says, "Hey, we are sorry we couldn't be there in person to greet you all. But this journey is still way too long. We're not devoting like a month for a guest appearance. But we have some exciting news we wanted to share nevertheless. We've signed a deal with Galarion Land for the corporation to open up a new theme park here called Absalom Land on that island that no one decided to settle on in the middle of the inner sea. What better place for a new interactive and fun historical experience, right, Knack?" The Knack robot moves forward and is like, "Yeah." And while it's like the exact same voice, by the way. And while that will take a while to set up, we wanted to bring the company and the fun to you to help you all celebrate completing 1 year in the Project Horizon colony. So we've got games and prizes and fun things in store. And again, sorry we couldn't be there in person, but well, we sent some friends along to help out with the party. Stepping down.
I call nonsense because I know that Rami has the ability to teleport anywhere within, like, he can think of.
Within a solar system.
Yeah, that's how I actually like it more because that's how just non-inconvenient inconvenience he wants to be. It's just like I couldn't even be bothered to teleport to whatever's over there right now.
I won't even spend a 5th level spell.
Fair.
Fortunately, you guys are still very far away from Absalom. Absalom's not far away from you. You guys could go back there in like a week, but the Starstone has started working up again. But it's almost like as long as a drift travel trip can take. It seems to take that long to get to this system. So indeed, both Knack and Rami did not want to waste like 2 months just to visit here. But walking down the starships behind you is a figure looking rather relaxed, a backpack slung over a single shoulder and over the other shoulder. A small mote of light, as we've seen none other than Alindra Vallis has shown up to make a party appearance. And she's like, "It's good to be back here. I need to reestablish my research since I last left. There's still so much we don't know about this world. What happened to it? Why did it suddenly return?" That's my character's arc for the rest of this season. I'm Alindra Vallis. Is that a good impression of Rebecca?
Is this Alindra's podcast or something? I'm confused.
Alindra would have a podcast.
Hi guys, this is Alindra Vallis.
She's got like NPR voice, right? Like,
I feel like more so you would have a PBS series. So maybe in addition to your moat following you, there's like a small camera over your shoulder and like, and here I am back on New Galarion. We're going to figure out what this planet's all about. And you're going to come with me.
And if I don't like the answers, Supernova.
Yeah, sure. Robob's there too.
Oh no. Oh,
Robob's my PBS
back to firing on these people.
All right. It's just the Hot Fuzz gif. Shame. Patrick brought back a robot. That's
Imagine how annoyed Alindra had to be during the long trip to get out here, dealing with the Rami and Knack, just robot.
SRO robots.
Yeah, and Alindra has no engineering, so she probably couldn't figure out how to turn them off either. So.
In addition to that, next up down the ramp, it's a large lizard man dressed in the robes of a Sarenrae priest, none other than Edros Varanes. Hello,
So wait,
everyone.
is the entire crew except Knack and Raimi here?
Well, you'll have to wait and see, Mile. You guys are you made your characters too important. I'm so sorry.
We did. Business bros.
Yeah, these other guys are gonna go out and have fun and go on adventures.
Yeah,
but
we don't have anything to do at all. That's great.
No,
Y'all are in corporate meetings all day.
Boring
so.
people.
Edros comes down and says, "It was long overdue to start retirement, and this planet here has a number of fields and meadows. I want to work the land a bit and find some place for me and my friends to call home. Maybe make up a homestead, raise some animals, take it slow for a bit.
Yarg.
Worship the sun, I guess."
Y'all got a son, right?
That's pretty much my character arc this season. That's what I want to do.
It's an overcast day. No, there's no sun here. We came to the wrong planet.
It sounds like Idros is going to be BFFs with Win.
They're on the same planet. It's happened. They could be best friends right now, for sure. Last but not least, of course, the ramp shakes under the weight of many footfalls as not one android, but an entire host of them descends upon New Galerion's surface. Maybe there's some rhythmic chanting, some humming going along with them, as most of them seem to be wearing very dark cloaks embroidered with large numbers over their android hearts. In the midst of them, looking very different from the rest, their veins glowing and rippling from up under his cloak and up into his neck and face, their eyes alight with a dull metallic sheen. We see Andis 148, and surrounding you, the majority of the founding 19. There's 17 other androids here with you.
That's a whole buku of them.
There goes the neighborhood.
And,
Andres, was it really necessary for you to bring your fan club with us this entire way?
Where we go one, we go all. Am I allowed to say that anymore?
technically, they're like brothers and sisters. They're siblings, and one of them will turn to you and be like, "Finally, the prophecy will be fulfilled here. This is the world on which you were first born from our creche. It is where Triune says that we must return to complete our ritual. We might just have to set up a temple here because, well, the weather is really nice. It doesn't seem like it gets too hot in the summer, not too cold in the winter.
Yes,
And
I don't
like
think I'll throw a temple tantrum.
Nurse.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
The daddest joke I think
Sorry.
you've ever
Sorry.
said. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Feels like it's been 2 seasons since we heard one of those.
There's a flurry of activity as you guys can meet these living legends that have saved the universe multiple times here and show them around Viridian Colony. It reminds you of your first week, your initial landing a year ago, as some of these ships' bulkheads are broken down and set up into like a small avenues and buildings, and you see some more ships taking off south to go colonize other lands. But a lot of folks begin to set up like a little mini theme park here, and some shopping centers. There's a huge food pavilion, some rides, an open kind of dais area where folks are gathering and all the mascots are hanging out. But yeah, this area seems dedicated to kind of a boulderized history of Galarion and the ancient gods. I did not make up Galarian land, by the way. I was when we started recording. It's in the Ports of Call book of Starfinder.
Oh,
Really?
that's fantastic.
It's a theme park dedicated to ancient Galarion.
to what they imagine ancient Galarian might have been like.
Yeah,
Complete with whalers on the moon and whatnot.
Yes, there's a bar Taphon mascot.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point, Adros would like lumber over to Asher and Sky and like kind of stare for a minute or two and then turn around to like Alinda and be like, does her jacket look familiar? I think I swear I've seen this before.
Had one just like that.
Did we not have these? I like your jacket, though.
Thank you. I think Asher and Sky are probably a little bit starstruck. I mean, these are famous warrior, I don't know, starfighters, I guess.
Yeah, very famous starfighters.
Especially Adras.
Oh my.
Adras was an icon, right? I mean, like, literally, he's more famous.
It was for a long time.
Was.
That up?
He hung that up. He changed his career. Really.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he's no longer famous. We all collectively forgot about Adras because he was no longer an icon. Okay.
People stop being famous all the time.
I guess it's like JTT. Yeah, JTT isn't famous anymore.
Aww.
Yeah.
Who?
Okay.
I'm thinking you're thinking of Devin Sawa.
No, he's in the Chucky TV series.
Good too.
Very good. We love.
I would probably compare like maybe Adras to being more famous than like a JTT. Like I would think it like be like the Prince turning himself into the artist. Like that kind of move.
He also, along with the others of the crew, helped save the universe twice, and once like only a year and a half ago. So
right.
But now,
but then he got all
retirements. You know,
then he got
there.
all Jesus-y about it, and so.
Have you heard about Saren Ray?
You become a level 20 divine champion, and suddenly there's all these clerical responsibilities, and they keep telling me I need to pay for my
meals.
Something. I can't read the contracts they send over. I forward them to Knack, and he tells me that I shouldn't be signing these things.
And then you sign them anyway.
Well, I keep forgetting to send them to him first. I sign them, and then I send them to him, and then he tells me I'm always doing these backwards. And now he's like months away from communication, so I feel like the best thing for me to do is build a house in the middle of the woods.
Mr. Knack invested in some Apple company, and now we don't got to worry about money nose mowers. Mm-hmm. So that's good. Forrest Gump.
Yeah, we know.
Okay, good. Because no one showed any reaction to me quoting a very
imagine that we should have
unfamous line from Forrest Gump.
I mean, it was no temple tantrum. Let's be honest.
nothing will be.
It's just as funny the second time, Bert.
It's almost like we should have ended the episode there. It's like, oh, well, we're not topping that. Yeah. So as this flurry of activity happens here in the setting up of, this Founders Day festival was just going to be like a day, but now it's going to be a full-on like month of activities here in Viridian. And yeah, coming up to you is a somewhat familiar face for some, perhaps you saw in the setting up of the colony. You see Isafina Knotts, who's now a new liaison for the financial backing from Abadar Corps and the initial colony settling with Tyrell Corporation. She comes up to the five of you, shakes hands, and says, "Why, hello. Thank you all for all the work you've done this year. I am Isafina Knotts. I'm now working as both an intermediary for Tyrell Hoardings and Abadar Corps, as well as a broker between many of the colonies here for land rights in the region for Absalom World. We have indeed entered a contract with colonies nearby for the space of the Isle of Kortos, but you all are invited to build there as well if you would like to select some tracts of land. Absalom land has also, really been made possible by a lot of the footwork that you and some of the other colonies have put into this planet in this last year. So as a thank you, the company has a number of gifts they would like to deliver to you all, most of which are donated by some of our corporate backers. But if you follow me, we've got one of the first rewards of many, something that Mr. Quindar and Feldspar thought you might be interested in. She leads you back into town, where apparently a building has just popped up near the town center that did not exist like an hour before. It is a full-on hospital, looks like a giant medical building. There's some robots still kind of putting it together on the outside, but on the inside it is brand spanking new, sterling white, sterile. If this was a section of one of the ships that just touched down, it probably was not used in the entire month and a half long voyage it took to get from Absalom Station. Isafina says, we want to thank you all for well, the sacrifices that you made. We understand that we almost lost a couple of you to permanent radiation death, and well, they donated everything inside this clinic, including a mnemonic resonator that is charged up and free for all of you to use. And in addition to that, Tyrell Holdings is gifting everyone here your choice of personal upgrades from synaptic accelerators, symbiotes, ability crystals. And yeah, the process is almost entirely automated. We've got a number of technicians that can help you out with this transition. And this procedure can be done overnight while you guys rest up in the labs as a thank you for
I can get my body back.
Oh, no, that's whoa, sorry. That is not something that they're able to do. You're stuck with that one.
Cries and undead.
They can do some light cosmetic work, but in the future, we're going to have to schedule that. But yeah, they're ready. They're ready with a new technology, new procedure where you guys can, work on your brains overnight, but also as soon as you wake up, you'll have increased reflexes or you'll feel a little smarter. They're great. They're wonderful. The technology that they have. But like I said, these kind of things
suddenly.
I feel
I'm
plus
so
two wise.
I'm so glad that these things have been invented and will be available for all of us for always. Oh, they're not? Oh, okay. Just for now.
Yeah.
Which stat would you all in real life want to +2 buff if you could just like plug something? Charisma?
100% charisma.
Jabert, you are one of the most charismatic people I've ever met.
That is
min-max, baby,
so
min-max.
OP. Min-max. 18 to a 20, you jerk.
That's true. Like Jabert doesn't want to just be like ahead of the curve. He wants to like just completely obliterate the curve. I respect that.
I'd do Constitution because I don't want my tummy to hurt as much.
that is a better one.
I don't want that rumbly tumbly as much.
I'm going to sound like a bro, but strength.
Yeah, boy. Let's go.
Just gonna be strength.
I think I do int because I often feel really stupid and I don't like feeling stupid. So
well, you know what? I would choose int if I could immediately pick another language. If that was a part of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good choice.
I would probably also choose int.
I chose the language of biceps.
Bis, tries, quads, delts.
The first day of the festival is winding down. Are you guys okay?
I only speak 2 languages, rise and grind.
There's that natural 20 charisma right there.
Yeah, there we go.
Gosh.
Are you guys willing to go through this procedure immediately? That, like I said, the first day of the festival is winding down here. There's a very helpful Kasathan technician that is, you can leave and come back and do it just like overnight sleep, but they give you some sci-fi pajamas before you head off into a small room that has 5 interconnected pods to climb in. And I think maybe Pradier can identify these pods. These are new mnemonic editors that seem to use a kind of rel state technology very similar to what was found on where you were found, the sleep pods on board the ship, the Devastation Ark. Yeah, they you guys can get in your jammies, strap in, and slowly drift off to sleep as you see, kind of gas fill up the pods. And there's a few medical technicians that come in and monitor your transition to rel sleep. And Jamfram, you see one of these figures kind of, come in, and it kind of raises some alarm bells as you see them speaking in the doorway to a shadowy figure you can identify as a Rigsar Mortis.
Oh, Riggs.
And as the doctor turns around, you can confirm it is indeed a familiar face, the same Ripper Doc that you owe money. The doctor that saved your life, loaned you out a black lung, who you've never met before. we have never met before on the podcast, but as they turn around, you do see a small black-furred skittermander with a white mohawk and one of the most intimidating scowls, but yet also adorable faces.
He's so
of any underworld doctor.
Patrick,
he's so scary, but he's so helpful.
I'm going to pause you right now. Using the Cosmic Crit Starfinder Skittermander generator. What is this Skittermander's name?
Well, I actually have a name. I thought about using that, which is funny, but I hope you guys got the reference on his description.
Yes.
Oh no, I missed it. Sorry, what was it?
Explain it to me.
It is. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Tyler. I don't have a picture of it, but he's very much the Spike of the
Stripe
Mogwai.
Stripes
is that his name? Yeah.
So.
Spike was in Gremlins 2. Stripe was in Gremlins 1.
I'm with you now.
White mohawk, black fur. The most intimidating yet adorable Skittermander underworld doctor in all of Absalom. And you see as he turns around, indeed, his name tag reads Dr. Feely Good.
Dr. Feeling Good. He's the one they call Dr. Feeling Good.
Yeah.
Wait, it's Dr. Feely Good, which means we don't even know his first name, his last name.
No,
his first name is Feely.
His first name is Feely.
No, but no, you don't say doctor and then their first name and their last name. You say like,
well, I'm not saying it.
I do. Every time I speak to my wife, I have to say doctor, wife's first name, wife's last name. Otherwise, she gets very upset with me.
It's so weird that you married someone named wife's first name.
Yeah, it was a choice, but I think it worked out in the end. Her parents were eventually happy with their choice.
Our daughter is going to make someone very happy one day, or it's going to be a bad name. No, yeah, three of these 6 hands kind of wave at you, Jamfram, as this chemical cocktail kicks in and knocks you out.
My eyes get real wide for a second. I put a hand up on the glass before I.
It makes that like noise, that streaking noise.
Jamfram just pulled the Titanic on it.
No, but the 5 of you all wake up together, and you are
missing a kidney.
You are outside in the forest of Viridian. It's very easily identifiable to you now. That
we're all missing a kidney
for a year. I just said that, Jeffrey.
I literally just said that.
Just said it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't hear it. I apologize.
Drew, the script has you saying missing a kidney in the next 60 seconds, so make sure.
My character doesn't even have kidneys.
Can't challenge that. Can't challenge it yet. How do you drink?
Yo, what makes your pee-pee, Drew? Zilix, tell me true. Where does your pee-pee come from?
Oh man, I like to think you wake up in the forest and that's the first thing you ask.
And once again, we have to call out Jabert's natural charisma, because anybody else saying that would have been weird.
Yeah, but you all seem to be waking up, and there's kind of like a weird liminal fog that has settled over bits of the forest here. And as you look up, it is overcast. There's not a lot you can see up in the sky. I mean, it's daytime. It's bright out, but indeed, this does seem to be both a very familiar and kind of a unfamiliar section of the forests of Viridian that you guys find yourself in. What would you like to do?
Can Pradier roll some kind of check to realize, is this Rel state? Is this just part of the Rel experience?
Well, you're really going to take over the all the rolls in this episode, but yeah, go right ahead and roll mysticism check. No one else has rolled a check except for you. You're gambling way.
I had to, I went gamba.
Had a stunt on them.
Some people we need more gambas. Mysticism.
Oh wow.
Natural 20. Yeah,
natural 20. All
right here.
Just rocks all day.
Can we go into some kind of combat? Can we have a boss fight now? That would be dope.
Yeah, do you guys want to? Do you want me to do the time traveling first world boss fight from book 2 of?
We'll watch us enter a combat, and then Tyler, your roll go right back to normal.
Oh, they go south immediately. Well, ironically, playing a character that doesn't roll attacks, so I said all that. And I'm worthless, so never mind.
No, natural 20 on the mysticism. I think Pradier, having spent a lot of time in Rel state suspension, realizes this is at least part of the technology that was pulled off the ship, in you guys sharing kind of a memory or some kind of, magical, mystical landscape while perhaps you're being operated on, or these personal upgrades are being installed. But this can also be perhaps part of the mnemonic editor. They've incorporated it into your Rel state experience together. So indeed, as
they're mixing up our brains, and we're gonna wake back up and be in each other's bodies. It's gonna be great.
Oh, that's my dream.
Oh man,
We've done that before.
such a great
Don't
episode.
want to do it again.
Yeah, I would love it if Rebecca had to play Pradier for the rest of the campaign.
If you just switched and you're just jumping all over the place, throwing out strikes.
This is the best.
Oh man,
I love this game.
it's so much fun. No, yeah, you seem to be in this liminal void together. You guys are cognizant, and you eventually do begin to feel different directions of the forest kind of calling to you, perhaps pulling you in different, what would normally be cardinal directions, but you feel like there are paths laid out before you. Do you guys want to forge together ahead together with one another, or do you want to split up and take these on individually? What do you want to do?
I think
I'm inclined to think that we would be pulled in different directions, right? I mean, it's not like it's reality, right?
Well, you might think that, but I feel like the whatever consciousness we have, Zilix is still going to want to go with other people, whether he gets pulled aside eventually or not. He doesn't want to be by his lonesome quite yet.
Oh, I was thinking this was more like being in a dream, where it was like you're not fully capable of controlling what happens, like you might intend to go with other people, but maybe get split off.
I don't know about Asher, but Zilix is not in his underwear giving a presentation to the entire class. So,
do you want to be? Is that what you want to imagine?
and now it's happening.
Yeah, Jamfram, to the extent that I'm able to remember my promises, I will stick by Pradier and keep him safe on his journey of self-actualization.
I think Asher and Sky would split off from the group. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pradier turns to Jamfram. We should follow her and then sneak up and try to scare her whenever she's in the middle of her.
We'll throw her a surprise birthday she'll never forget.
Oh, that is a good one.
And when
yes.
she's asleep, we'll put her hand in a bowl of warm water.
You guys,
Zilix, you are having the best ideas in this dream state.
do you guys want to wait for Asher and Sky? Or do you want to move on while she goes in a different direction? Well, they go different directions. Asher and Sky.
I think we're fine to move on.
Okay. Well, who do you want to do first? We got mnemonic editing, fun side quests for everybody, and it's really whatever order you guys want to do it. You want to do Asher and Sky first?
Asher and Sky, you want to go first?
Sure.
They seem like they're ready. So
alphabetically, it's first indeed.
I mean, to be fair, Asher and Sky are not alone because they have each other.
That's true.
They are one.
I feel like then a 1970s end credits theme would start, but I don't have one keyed up. So,
actually, I just keep hearing that one song from Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. We are one.
Asher,
if you don't know
that song.
If you don't know it, listeners, fellow podcasters, I'll sing it. I'll sing it after the credits.
Don't do that.
It is episode 300.
We can't afford that.
Ironically,
you could do Steamboat Willie, but only Steamboat Willie.
You can only whistle the Steamboat Willie tune.
Taylor, hilariously enough, I was listening to that movie earlier today because Kristen.
Oh, really?
It. Yeah, she loves.
That's awesome.
She loves Simba's Pride.
I mean, what's his name?
Yeah, what's his name?
Scar's kid. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it starts with a K.
It's like Kiori or something like that, right?
What's the one?
Okay, all right, we're moving on. It's Asher and Sky's time.
Still around?
Rebecca.
Yep.
As you split off from the group and begin walking through the forest, it begins to transition, and you see large red rocks show up amongst the trees here in the fog. And eventually this gives way as the trees disappear, and you find yourself walking on the surface of Akaton. In the distance, there's a crashed and you see in the middle of some nasty looking aliens, Trizarchy fighting off some folks, and you find indeed your mother, who seems to be wielding a long tack lash, kind of keeping a number of creatures at bay. And as you get closer, you see that these are swarm component trying to overpower her, but her very fluid movements, kind of unlike some of your battle flower training. She seems to be more moving, juking, dodging, and then going in for like these really brutal, precise hits. Every time one of these alien critters seems like they're about to surge forward, you also see what looks like her tiger stripe, like Karakan's, her symbiote, kind of flashes a bit, and they seem to be stunned or perhaps mesmerized by what is happening here, as she is able to, she's holding off like 8 different swarm components and giving them what for as they move in, punishing every single time they try to do so. And eventually you watch as one of them gets a very good hit in, good bite perhaps on her leg, and she falters for a bit before backflipping out of the group of them and continuing the fight. It seems for a moment you guys can lock eyes, and Sky seems to begin to radiate a light as this happens. Yeah, you're taken aback. It seems like this is some kind of psychic memory of your mother's fighting style. Something that you never really got a chance to see firsthand, but it is very effective. You can study this for a while before this begins to fade away and you find yourself back in the forest once more. But you did know at least of your mother that she fought the swarm, perhaps died at their hand in the previous swarm war. But how does Asher take? I guess Asher and Sky take seeing this fight happen.
So Asher was a very small child when they got separated from, and doesn't have a whole lot of actual memory, but I'm sure that there's some subconscious in there somewhere that this is probably drawing upon. But, I think consciously anyway, they really only remember the battle flowers. However, that is not true for Sky. Sky is a part of this grander, colony of the parasite, and I think has, retains that connection in some way, or at least has more of the memories of what actually happened. So perhaps this is coming in a large way from Sky, and I suspect that Asher would be relying on Sky and putting their trust in Sky in this moment, and feeling that deeper connection through Sky, I guess.
Yeah. I imagine it is kind of like watching a how-to video on this very different fighting style. And maybe this happened. Maybe this is something that Sky is helping you experience, but you're not sure if maybe this is just part of the Mnemonic editor's kind of training protocol. And this is something that your brain is telling itself that it wants to see or believe, But regardless, I think we talked off air about changing up your character a good deal. So I figured this maybe was the way that your mother fighted.
Yeah, fought, you mean?
This is her fighty way.
Yeah, I think Asher very much, still appreciates their time with the battle flowers and what the battle flowers did for them. They wouldn't have survived without battle flowers, of course. But also, there's always a part of them that wants to be able to connect to where, their origins. So I think that they would see this as, I am transitioning from being a vanguard to being an operative, but keeping the battle flower motif, I guess. So, or archetype, I suppose, is the correct term.
I like to call it Triziarca precision fighting. Oh, that was your mother's style.
No, that's good. I very much want to stay in character. It's just that the class wasn't really working for me in the way that I wanted the character to, function, I guess. But I'm also seeing, after a year on this colony, I think that there are some gaps that need to be filled in skill abilities for that.
I don't know what you're talking about. You guys didn't fail
Couldn't
to
find or open a door in the last episode. So
an hour or so, it felt like good times.
So yeah, very much still in the martial arts, style and everything like that. But yeah, a little bit of a different build. So we'll see how it goes. I'm sacrificing some things, but gaining some other things. So it'll be interesting to see the trade-off there.
Who do we want to look at next? And the four of you, the rest of you, want to go together on this next journey?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's go.
Who's next?
Let's go. You and I?
Yeah, sure.
Are we going to Redacted? As you walk forward, the rest of you, night seems to settle on the forest as the trees peel away, and you feel like you're just in a limitless black void that stretches around you, just pitch black as you step forward here. The only thing you can hear that feels different is you eventually hear kind of metal clicks as your boots hit the ground beneath you. And eventually in the distance, as you walk forward, you see three lights and illuminating three floating decks behind them, each a gray alien floating about 15 feet in the air above these hover desks, and each of them bearing the insignia across a sash over their suits, marking them as kind of arbiters of technology. One of them psychically speaks out into all of your minds and says, "Yeah, your name's redacted for security purposes. You have put forward a submission to the Advanced Technologies Directive for a theoretical energy source fragment. State your business here. What is it that you are looking to build?"
Don't know.
It says on your form, your paperwork.
Sick cars.
It says space wagon. What is a space wagon?
The finest vehicles ever created, and it's beyond our aesthetic knowledge.
We don't understand. Why is a vehicle important to your mission? Where do you plan to take this craft?
Everywhere.
Your placement testing has proved you have a high acumen to enter into other fields of study. Demolitions, riflery, robotics, all those divisions have requested your assistance. Why would you take this energy source, if we were to grant it to you, for an experimental vehicle? Why not choose another path?
Because those paths are boring and short-sighted.
Name redacted. It seems you have connections that this council does not quite understand, because we were given special dispensation to allow one to take this energy source for a vehicle specifically to the new colonies that were founded. We just want you to know that if you do not utilize this technology to its maximum extent, we can and will revoke it. If we find that you are not meeting our goals, do we make ourselves clear?
Redacted just kind of stares back in response.
Excellent. The polite way to respond to a question. Stony silence. You are correct. That is the gray culture.
It is the way.
From the darkness, indeed, a small engine core that looks like a bread box, like a little black box, filled with kind of like an orange lightning floating around what looks like an orb of some sort inside of it, kind of moves forward. And indeed, this is what Redacted needs to take on a major engineering project, and is the power source for the space wagon, for the air vehicle, for whatever form it takes in the future. I think we talked a little off air about changing it up and going another experimental route, but you're all in on vehicles forever and ever, Mel's right?
Yeah. I made this bed when I made this character, so.
Well, if you want to change it up in the future, there are other options.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot I really wanted to change for Redacted. I mean, would like to get more money so I can buy better weapons, but that's about it.
Better vehicle. Yeah, I mean, that'll happen eventually as we keep playing. But yeah, it is funny that my editor's like, do you want to change anything about your past and feats and things like that? And Redacted's like, no, I'm pretty perfect.
Yeah, I mean, but that is Redacted, you know. So
never second guessing.
Right. So I mean, Redacted is looking at this, this series of events, and we're also seeing everyone else's series of events, right?
Well, these three. Well, I guess Rebecca, did you want to join back up with the group to continue on? Because they can wait for you.
Sure.
Yeah, everyone else can kind of see this as well then.
Yeah, so I think Redacted would have been slightly confused to like relive this memory. So in Tyler's spirit, I think Redacted would start saying this will all make sense when I'm older from Frozen 2.
Who do we want to go to next?
I'll go next.
Jamfram
will go.
Jamf. The forest leaves again as it gives way to darkened corridors of Absalom Station. You guys enter into a small, dingy clinic in the dimly lit operating table, where maybe we see from Jamfram's point of view in this as they're looking up into the large operating lights as maybe figures float over you and you're in like an ether of chemical haze. We see a Lashunta medical assistant, a contemplative anesthesiologist, and finally, indeed, that same Skitterman for Ripperdoc, who's got like a different sawing or scalpel in like each of their 6 hands. He comes up to you and Dr. Feely Good says, "Surgery's a major one, but you're not going to have your lungs for a little bit. So you're going to be oxygenated by my colleague here, and Dr. Big Brain here is going to send you off to La La Land for a while. I just want you to, I want you to think of a happy place in your mind palace. You know what that is, Jamfram?"
Jamfram is back feeling back in this place and is unable to speak and just sort of like gurgles out
yeah, don't think about all the monies that you owe people, or the fact that you don't have a job, or that you don't really have any friends here. I want you to imagine you have a starship and you've got all the money in the world and you can go anything and you do anything. And what do you want to do with that? Where would you go? What would you do? Just think about that. Okay, buddy.
And Jamfram envisions a world with trees and with grass and with rivers, and there's a moment. There's sort of, in the way that you have a dream, when you have sort of like the thing that's happening in the dream, but your mind sort of like understands something new through the dream. And suddenly Jamfram understands that the reason that he's at this colony is not merely to earn some money to pay back a paltry debt. I mean, a big debt, but an unimportant debt in the grand scheme of things, but indeed to preserve this place and to create something new, something better, a place where people are not carved up and chewed up by the machinery of money.
Don't say capitalism. You support capitalism.
Moneyism. That's the one.
Literally, Abadar, the Abadar mascot, comes into your dream and is like, "What are you talking about? Money's great. We love money. Thank you for shopping at."
Thank you, Abadar.
No, as you're thinking about this, and maybe your brain had just blocked out like exactly where you went to as you were also under anesthesia many months ago for this surgery. But you imagine kind of a place like Galarion, story place with trees and lots of rivers and places where you can swim. But indeed, here in this place right now, you guys are all blinded for a moment as you see what looks like standing right before you all a shining knight, kind of decked out in polished silver armor, polished to an intense shine to where it's reflecting just about every single thing in the nearby area and illuminating it to a greater extent. She carries with her a long sword, equally kind of cared for and etched with runes, and she approaches you all, kind of falls to a knee, and in a very honorific way presents the blade up to you, and you can examine it. Jamfram is a knight's sword that was, smelted, hammered, encrusted with magic over many years by many hands, with one purpose and one purpose only: to destroy evil, to protect the innocent. Something that you've imagined, that you've would be able to wield for some time. As you reach out to grasp it, this begins to fade away, and the forest around you all turns dark, marshy, dense as we watch it transform into a swampy jungle. The smell here turns to one of death, and we see what looks like an Extangi woman stepping through the blackened, blighted forest in a environmental space suit. Their environmental protections up. The leaves here are all molded over with fungi. The same disease has ravaged most of the planet. The blighted bark here is exacerbated in this area because it falls under the shadow of the giant floating city-state of Thelm, that of House Fell. We see sickly puddles of black sludge gather that kind of gives off noxious gases. Behind her, you all stand moving forward where once a young Zilix stood, holding on to his mother's coattails. Not quite while you were a hatchling, not while you're an adolescent, somewhere in between. She's brought you here to the surface to meet someone in a small grotto near dead palms. Overhead, you see this figure as you walk forward, hidden amongst the mimsy bora groves. It's a very ancient-looking Extangi man. His eyes milk white with kind of sclera overgrown with fungal splotches, almost like a petri dish of like little blooms. His scales are almost all chalky white, maybe in places where they've tried to shed and haven't come off perfectly, or others where he's just lost color pigmentation control. And the places that are not bone white, his scales are reflective and crimson and sapphire, kind of even in the shade here. The telltale sign of gleam scale. Your mother calls out Zilix and says, I have brought the boy to you. Please tell me what is wrong with him. What is this disease? As she kind of sets you to walk out before her, you can step forward and see this old mystic Extangi named Asarian, and he calls out and says, "Oh, what's the matter, boy? Have you never seen a dusk dweller before?"
I'm frightened, sir.
What's that?
I'm frightened, sir.
More porridge? No. You don't need to be frightened. You have your fancy spacesuit to keep you from breathing all this in. But as long as I've been down here, I don't need it anymore. Tell me, boy, what does it feel like when your scales begin to shine?
I'm not sure.
Does it feel good? Is it something that you feel like you have control over? And what of it that you see? What have you seen in your visions? What do they tell you? Your mother kind of like interjects. She's like, I'm sorry, visions? What are you talking about? Eventually, the blighted bark takes over everything. Flora, fauna, Extangi alike. And those with power in the ancient ways, those with gleam scales, can hold back the disease. But eventually, the visions come. Visions of a darkness we cannot escape. He draws his fingers through the air in a giant circle and drags a line down through its top. You can train the boy to control his scales. Your scientists no doubt will try to heal him, but there's nothing wrong with him. Nothing time won't solve, because eventually, if the scales don't take him down from the disease, it'll find a way into his mind. When that day comes, boy, you're always welcome to come back here. Come back to live with me in the swamp. I say, Drew, to you. You can still hear that dark guttural laugh to this day. Your mother at that point had grabbed your hand and just very briskly walking back to the shuttle. Yeah, and as you guys walk back, what do you think so far? I mean, I guess all of you are seeing some of these visions of one another. Is there anything you're finding out about one another that is, I guess, either news to you as a player or your characters? No one got to see what happened to Asher and Sky, but I guess everyone else saw the other three.
But Asher in Skies was real, like, creepy and dark, and like introduced some real dark aspect of their personality, like maybe, I don't know, gambling addiction.
No, that's Pradier.
I wasn't paying attention.
No, let's not get ahead of ourselves on who's seeing what. I'm sure we all would have felt differently about our little upgrades if we had known that they came with our own personal insight into trauma. But
Pradier, does that mean you don't want to do yours? You want to?
I have nothing to share because I've died. So good luck finding the memories of a dead man.
We walk away from the jungle of Doadanga. Is that the name of the planet? And into what just looks like the regular forest that you guys have been walking in, the forests of New Galarion here. But as you continue walking, the forest, I guess it becomes more real, more solid, and maybe more familiar. The fog kind of dissipates, and you all find yourself standing outside the entrance once more to the Marizal laboratory, the one that was flooded with irradiation, the one indeed where Pradier passed.
You know, I don't think there's anything making us go forward, and I think maybe we've all had enough of show and tell today.
Pradier, we have to go forward. We have to know what's in there.
Do we?
Come, Pradier. I have followed you this far. Follow me. Follow me into the deepness.
In case you aren't aware, our radiation protections have not increased since the last time we went into the laboratory. Die once from radiation, shame on me. Die twice from radiation, shame on you.
Mine have. I have level 5 armor now.
Oh! Pradier stares at your armor. Well, isn't that grand for you?
Why don't you climb inside with me? There's room for 2. You can get in here. We can squeeze it.
You only get half the protection. Like body parts are like sticking out of the armor. No, as you look around, indeed, you see some other figures are here in the forest with you, moving towards the entrance of the facility, and it looks different. In fact, it looks brand new. There's a bright shining sign out front that was not here when you guys explored this place. It's not overgrown with weeds and moss and things. The sign reads Geomantic Research Station Cursed Industries, and we watch as...
Wait, why would you name your company that? That sounds brutal. That sounds like you're just like waiting for somebody to get poisoned and then you lose all your money in a lawsuit.
Shabert, in the original language, it wasn't that.
Oh, I see. In the original language, it was Happy Best Industries, mining always safe, never cursed.
Once again, we talked about this. KERST, cursed.
That you keep saying that, but
indeed, as you guys are moving forward, you're walking briskly behind what looks like another elven man walking into the laboratories in a long white lab coat, filing down this long hallway into the facility that has that gentle slope down here. Indeed, you watch as he puts in his code and enters into the building, and as he walks down the hall, you can follow behind and you see what looks like a mechanic wearing some heavy welding gear, working on a weld on a door frame, and they say, "Oh, hello, Dr. Cursed." They tip up their welder's mask, and you see the very live form of Marnie Felivar, the undead woman you destroyed in the climactic final fights where Pradier lost his life, looking both alive and young and very happy.
Oh. Both hale and not dead.
Patrick, instead of saying when Pradier lost his life, can you say when Pradier began his unlife? Can we put positive spins?
How about when he gave his life? Like it was.
I've done my best, Tyler, to not say where Pradier ate it. But now I'm going to say it. Wow. This is the place where Pradier ate it.
Jeez, just full disrespect.
Technically also where Marnie Felivar ate it. This figure kind of waves back, this elven figure, and says, "Morning, Marnie. Oh, we all set for tomorrow's experiment?" It is a voice that sounds kind of familiar, though maybe there's like a little bit of a Marizal heavy accent. Marnie kind of like shakes her head and is like, yep, the readings on the site are all good. Obelisk should be a pretty easy experiment to start with. They set up the day's readings in your lab, so yeah, just let me know if you need anything else around. The figure thanks her and says, oh, have you seen Alexa around? No, Dr. Kellenfiel. Haven't seen them. They might be out enjoying this nice weather. They dispense with the pleasantries as you watch as this figure goes towards the office that you entered into marked Dr. Cursed. Dr. Kellenfiel Cursed. And as they step forward and turn around, you see someone that looks very much like our good friend Pradier here. Alive, an elf alive that looks very much like Pradier, but very different at the same time. He goes inside his office and closes the door, and the scene begins to fade away. Ooh, yeah. I got little memories for everybody, Tyler. You just because you don't have all your memories, it doesn't mean you get to miss out on them.
Yeah, that's great. Well, if everyone's happy with our little trips through memory lane, maybe we can find our way out of this or whatever.
Radier, that looked like you were there. What's going on? What does that mean?
You know, I think you guys don't even need to roll sense motive for this. I'll just give it to you. Radier's about to lie.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't say.
You don't say.
You're breaking my heart, Tyler. You're breaking my heart.
This is, to be honest, this technology, stolen from the Civ Empire is not to be trusted. So I think it's very possible that everything we've seen is, maybe doesn't have as much of the truth in it as we would like it to have. So I would not put too much, thought into it. I think it is simply, dreams don't make sense, right? Why would this?
Whatever you say, friend. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to or anything, but
don't we? We know that there's someone in our midst that is working against the good of the colony. We have been unable to discover.
I want to be Tyler so bad, you guys.
I do too. I mean, not Jamfram. Jamfram doesn't.
Oh, I want to be Tyler so bad. Yeah. No, you guys took down Namiltana, but Namiltana was not in that secret meeting with Knack and Raimi. It was just the five of you and Ezra and Shire. But I'm already telling you, it's not Ezra and Shire. They're cool. Ezra and cool.
Yeah. We shoot him. I think that I don't see the healthiness in discussing these possibly not fully accurate visions. So, but if people want to indulge theories as to where our origins lie, I guess I can't stop that. Imagination's a great thing.
I mean, everyone else had something at least you can demonstratively probably prove was real in some way, shape, or form. And those of you that remember some of these memories can confirm them. But indeed, at the very least, I guess spoiler warning, Pradier, I don't think does remember this having ever happened.
So it's hard to remember something that happened to you when it wasn't you that it happened to, if that makes any sense.
Well, I mean, this was like 100 years ago, right? Like, isn't that the story that we heard?
Yep. But Marizov facility.
That's not like a crazy long time for elves, right? Like
that's true.
That is also true.
That's like
how old
that's
is
like 10 years ago
supposed to be?
But Pradier also
let's cut them open and count the rings.
Pradier also had like weird cognition things that affected his ability to figure out past from present from future. So
Zilix makes a great point that I would like to emphasize. I was also found on the Devastation arc, which means my history is pretty much accounted for. The Civ did whatever they did to me. I couldn't have been here because I was obviously with the Civ, since that is who I was captured by.
I'm so sorry to bust that bubble, Tyler, but this Devastation arc did come through this system. That is how the Moon Giants
no one knows
knew about this place. No, I think that's
no one knows
kind
that.
of common knowledge. Whether they came to this planet or not, that's like a little more open-ended. Like,
okay, well then don't just state it like it was fact.
The moon giants that were on the Devastation arc did have a map of this system at the very least. Like they were the ones that told Absalom about the planet. That is how we got from season 4 to season 5. That's the story I'm sticking with.
These characters don't know that though, necessarily.
I don't know if it's like super common knowledge, but there was an explosion of information and technologies after the Devastation arc was taken out. So I think at the very least, there's a rumor that this was like part of the path that the Devastation arc kind of cut through the universe, and that can probably be backed up with some of the other peoples that they took over along that path. Yeah, I don't it's probably not super common knowledge. I guess you're right, Rebecca. Unless you know a moon giant from the ship. You're like, oh yeah, I was drinking buddies with old Celestine.
Can I roll a culture check?
Yeah, you can.
Don't you dare do this to me.
Yeah, so you guys can wake up from the shared experience the following day here in this chamber in your sci-fi pajamas, maybe having gone through this experience together and waking up rafted, some enhanced augmentations, and yeah, with some new skills or abilities. Company really hooked you up as far as min-maxing or changing up your characters in addition to having leveled up to level 5. The rest of the Founders Day Festival continues to rage on, as the first day saw like over 500 visitors come to Viridian. That doubled to 1,000 by the day's end. And the next few days sees even more thousands as folks from all different colonies on the planet come to visit. And eventually the company begins to ship out down south, start building Absalom world. And about a week or so later, things begin to quiet down back in Viridian. You guys can get back to good old regular colony management, doling out those resource points and building roads, I guess. I don't know what else you do.
You kids with your music.
You guys have survived the most wild parts of this planet, what this planet has had to throw at you, from mountain eels to crazy radiation zombies and stag bears, and have all lived to tell the tale. But episode 300 does not end on New Galerion, but we're racing all the way back to the darkened city streets, office buildings of Absalom Station, to a shell corporation inside a very large skyrise that reads Carium Industries. Inside, there's a very large laboratory, multi-floor laboratory operation set up, and we see a landscape of sterile-looking engineers and chemists in white suits working on a large project together, and in an office looking down on this lab. A couple of figures, one of them a rotund human man, and the other an old Asharan scientist with a big old metallic Akata guard at his side. There's a knock at the door, and an assistant comes in and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry to have to give you this word back from New Galerion, but, well, it seems that Pavos Tillo is dead. The fish fair gambit has failed, Mr. Loachworts. Do you want me to send a reply message back to our contacts?" And indeed, as he turns around, you see Xantos Loachwort with a bunch of metallic Dr. Octopus apparatus on his back, kind of adjusting.
Open fire. Open fire.
None of you are there. This is for the audience.
No.
And he says,
"Someone's there.
I'll do it myself.
I get to control them." Click, click, click.
Xantos says, "Oh, we have bigger fish to fry on that planet. Our enemies are moving against us, and I think it's time we had a little bit more of a hands-on approach. It's time to pack our bags, Nakithi. We've got a energy source to track down, and when we do, we're going to be continued."
Go.
Bum.
Nakithi's working with Loachworts.
I told you guys, you shouldn't have brought it up, Miles. Xantos Loachwort never gonna die.
Oh,
never.
I think Miles has a different plan.
Different plans.
This character that has never met him before is just gonna have a instinctual urge to like run him over.
Universal truths are a thing.
Oh gosh.
It seems like Redacted would be the third member of that boy band. Miles, Redacted, Xantos. Yeah, that's all I got for 300. I'm so sorry we didn't have musical elements listening.
Maybe episode 400.
Yeah, put that on the books. What are you guys doing in 2026?
I know we're in 2024 right now, but 2026 sounds so far out.
Yeah. No, every year after, like I said, I grew up playing Cyberpunk 2020. I was like, wow, the far off future of the year 2020. Now everything past that, I'm like, this is not real. This is not real. Where are the flying cars?
Our son's graduation year is 2030. And that's like simultaneously
right
so far out, but not that far away.
No, not at all.
Not far enough away.
That's going to do it. Believe it or not, guys, we still have 4 books of this campaign to play. We're almost 40 episodes in. We still have 4 books to play. And these first 2 have been honestly very tame and mild, like content wise. Each of the next ones kind of ramps up. It's like, oh, you've got to fight stag bears and like a mean mayor. What's the boss of this book? No, it's going to get much more goofy as we continue on.
I'm into it.
So that's going to do it for episode 300. Everyone, thank you for playing with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Patrick.
Listeners,
And thank you for the
Critter
gifts. I know you said they were from the company, but really they're from you. So thank you.
No problem. I mean, it's so funny because we've been, trying our best to like move this season forward so you guys can do like earned income, profession checks and things like that. And it's like, that's still not enough money. We need to like have like a time jump of like 5 years. We need to Battlestar Galactica this. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. Crittermanders, thank you for listening for 300 episodes now. And we will catch you on the next 300 and at least next week. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you on the next Cosmic Crit. Bargle Bargle.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
You've been listening to Cosmic Crit, an officially licensed partner of Paizo Incorporated. The Starfinder role-playing game and adventure paths are trademarks of Paizo. All Pathfinder and Starfinder images are property of Paizo and are used with permission.